I've discovered that the difference between known experts and industry authorities isn't knowledge, it's stage time. While most entrepreneurs are creating content for their tiny audiences, breakthrough business leaders are borrowing other people's crowds through guest posts, interviews, and summit appearances. Why are you building audiences from zero when you could be speaking to thousands who already trust someone else? Your biggest challenge isn't having something valuable to say, it's finding people ready to listen. Every day, there are podcast episodes published and webinars that are hosted, countless blog posts seeking expert contributions. Your ideal customers are already consuming content. They're just not consuming yours because you haven't appeared where they're looking. Every week you spend creating content on your own small audience instead of guest appearing on established platforms cost you potential connections and lost business. Entrepreneurs who are constantly guests on platforms see faster authority building, higher speaking fees within 12 months. 1 year from now, you're either going to be known as the go-to expert in your field through strategic visibility or struggling to be heard above the noise. Your expertise isn't great if nobody else experiences it. And it astounds me how many times we see experts who have spectacular information trying to grow it all by themselves. We should be establishing communities of experts that lift each other up. Now, you shouldn't just be doing this one thing. You should be trying to build your own audience, but you should be also leveraging people who are interested in the same area. I'm going to suggest that a lot of what we're doing in the social media is not working because it is so saturated. So what we have to do is we have to leverage ourselves. We have to get out there faster and bigger. And you can't do that alone. You have to do that in cooperation. So looking for strategic partnerships, to finding podcasts that speak about and you are aligned with, doing guest presentations and doing guest actions, as well as blog posts, will increase your visibility greater than almost anything else in the short term. Now, you absolutely are going to have to be creating more content. You're going to have to engage the people who have started to follow you. You have to keep that going, but that's just not enough. In the social media markets that we're in now, just having the simple conversations about what's going on in your own small audience will grow, but it will grow at a much slower rate. We have to leverage each other. We have to provide different ideas and different content. Social media in the beginning used to be where you get millions of followers who would actually see you. Less and less does that happen now. So you have to find the people who are actually following and listening to it. I love podcasts as a great way of doing it. Having your own little podcast and being able to be on other people's podcasts is a huge way of starting to get people interested. Also, being where they actually are consuming the information. No one likes to have to be on audio and video and podcasts, but you have to be on all of those platforms because some people will listen in the car or watch while they're making dinner or be scrolling through a social media network and want to see a quick quote. And if you're not there, you are not seen. But better to be there on multiple platforms than there on one. And in fact, this is one of the strategies we've used for book publications on a regular basis, where it's interesting to be part of a group of people that are all promoting the same thing at once. And imagine, if you will, setting up for 1.5 years to promote a book, and then every podcast on that same area has you at the same time. Every blog post is about your idea, so that when the book comes out, there is a tsunami of interest already. That's a lot of work and requires a lot of attention, but that doesn't mean that you can't get on 1 to 2 to 3 podcasts a month and build that up over time. And the more the people see you on other people and the more the people who they trust invite you in, it's kind of like meeting your friends on a regular basis. If you meet your friends and this friend says, hey, I've got a friend that I like, maybe you'd like them too, and you meet them. That's exactly what being on podcasts is all about. And when you're on those, make sure you're delivering high quality content. Make sure you're actually solving a problem and asking questions. spend some time and get some media training on exactly what you should be doing to make sure that that works the best. So absolutely, are you going to have to create your own content? Yes. Do you have to be on all of the different platforms? Well, no, you don't have to be, but you want to be on the platforms that the people you want are consuming. Now, if you're just in business, yeah, Instagram and Facebook may not be the best for you, and LinkedIn may be better. But I'll tell you what, when people are just scrolling through or waiting for a minute, they pick up their phone, they probably aren't going to LinkedIn, they're going to something else. And are you on that? Have you asked your customers exactly where they are and what they listen to? Have you asked your employees what they listen to? Because that may tell you some of the podcasts you may not be able to get on immediately, but you may get on over a period of time. So think of this as a continuum. Start off with a small podcast and get used to talking. Get used to mentioning your ideas. Get used to formatting your ideas into small hunks. Get used to talking to the big black hole. What do I mean by that? Well, right now I have the opportunity to talk to you, and I am, not to break the third wall, staring at a camera. Staring at this large black lens and imagining there's someone at the other end. This is a unique skill. It's much more different than speakers who are used to pointing to people and talking to them and getting some sort of feedback. You have to generate your own feedback there. So working on small podcasts, either video or audio, gains that momentum, gains that experience. You build that muscle so that when the big opportunity comes, you're not working from zero. You've already gotten the reps in, you've already gotten the process in, so that you can truly talk about the things that are important, and you give it in a way that is unique and is well thought of and developed in a way that can be easily consumed. And of course, you also ask them to do something else. If you notice in every one of these podcasts, I've got a pattern that I go through. It's actually set up in a script, but I also now know it off the top of my head. So as you get the reps in, you get better and better at that. You get more fluid at that. So when the time comes, when the great opportunity, when we used to say, when the Oprah moment comes, you're ready. Not only are you ready with your skills to present, not only are you ready with good, tight sound bites, you're ready to say, hey, if you're interested, I've got this other thing that you can come talk to me about. Or follow me on such and such. And if you do, look for post XYZ, because that actually explains it better than I have time to do it now. If you notice that being that comfortable with that kind of conversation, as if it's a flowing conversation, will make you so much better. But the time to start is not when you get the big opportunity. The time to start is when you have the small opportunities to hone your craft, to be able to be good on podcasts and conversations so that you can create better and better ways of making solutions, of getting people and getting them interested, in bringing them to hear what you have to say and having conversations, building a tribe. And that tribe will only be built if you get out and have those conversations. If you get out and are able to talk to people, are able to have conversations with people who are not actually in the same room as you. If you're able to have conversations with people who are very much in the same genre, but may not be exactly, and more interesting, is when you get good at this, going to talk to people who are not in your industry, but are interested tangentially. That's where the interesting market happens. Because if you're just talking to the same people, they have their own specific people they want to follow. But imagine if you went to a tangential market. Say if you're in healthcare and you go into the weightlifting space and you have a specific expectation, a specific idea, and you talk to all the people who are the big weightlifters, and they are interested in the subject that you're in. You're drawing a whole new population, a whole new set of valuable people who are interested in one thing and now have become interested in you. And that's how a lot of people become known. One of the great speakers I know is a gentleman by the name of Raman Sharma, and he is spectacular at giving a speech, but more, and he takes days to prepare for these speeches. He goes into isolation and really works the speech so he knows it and it's fluid and it's lovely and it moves in a different way. But what he also brings is he brings countless years of repetition. He brings an audience of him that love, honor, and adore him to the speeches to help fill it, and he gives the ability to connect on a regular basis. Did you ever get a chance? Watch some of the stuff that Robin Sharma did. The mastery sessions are masterful in the way that he moved from a public speaker into a YouTube speaker. One of the things that you can copy and do. Take a look at that. Let me know about the different things that have popped up for you. Like, what tangential markets are you looking at? Can you come up with a list of tangential markets that may be interested in what you have to say? Can you come up with tangential markets that your company could talk to find out what they need? One of my greatest little techniques that I've always used to build a business is call up people that are doing large things and saying, I hear you're doing a webinar. What do you need help with? I used to be a project manager. Would your organization be helpful to get 30 minutes on how to be a better project manager and get your projects done? I'll do it absolutely for free, and I'll give away the documents so that they can actually get it done, so they actually have some value. Would that be valuable to you? Never actually been told no. And I go do that, and sometimes I find people who are interested, and sometimes I'm just doing it as value, but more people start to follow me. I can't tell you how many times I've just did a favor. A friend of mine called up and says, you know a little something about YouTube. Would you mind talking about YouTube? And I find it interesting because this individual is actually a spectacular social media person, but they needed someone else. So I came in and talked about YouTube and actually found 2 clients. I actually felt bad because I wasn't actually interested in selling, just supporting a friend. So go to those tangential markets and start having those conversations. Come up with the ideas and look at how you can start a small podcast, even if it's just audio, and get on others to get those reps in, to get that work done. So take those ideas and put them in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. I look forward to talking to you later.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode on the Strategy Session, where we take your business from stuck to unstoppable. Here's another video I think you'd enjoy. If you found these insights valuable, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell for notifications on our latest videos. Remember, you're not just marketing, you're making history with Venture Gained.